You went to IU. Yeah, right now you got a lot of people say forget about school. You don't have school, and I think they are relatively why. If you don't have a real business, if you don't understand accounting, you're already behind by each point. Can you find out that's not? They still have to communicate to you, right? I mean, there's people that don't understand the concept of the difference between profit and cost. Or your accountant might tell you you're profitable, but your cash going down. Not understanding breakdown, and when you don't, you think you collect a lot of that. You think you do, right? Because it may not for some reason people look. If so, save more about it, you can take an online course with yourself. Anyway, but most important, I'm not saying you have to internet, because it's expensive school, and you have community college accounting spend internet post for account. Just spending the money forces you to be more obligated to do it. But accounting, finance, lesson understanding marketing, sales is school offers that. These are all the language of business. So what is possible to teach yourself these things, and what is possible to hide them. If you're selling a bomb company, you don't want to spend the money in hiring an accountant, so your cost of running a business drops even more important in order that blocking and tackling the language of business. I think a lot in the with more than anything else, I learn how to learn. And learning become more important to me because the uncertainty in business is always going to change it. If you're not always learning to this minute, if you're not constantly learning, if you're not constantly absorbing as much as I can absorb, someone else is going to kick me ass. Right? Still about paranoia. The very source of your paranoia should be knowledge. So there's a whole more than you do. If you don't learn, if you don't know how to learn, you don't have trust for learning and acquiring information, you SOL. Peter would like to say, you're not only stupid questions and I don't want to ask them, right? That's right. Because the questions you ask them, they make me move for more about you and anything you should do. Because in particular technical preparation, if you ask me questions about just basic things you should have known and you should have understood science, that's going to disqualify you almost more than anything. Do you think it needs to be a healthy level of paranoia? Absolutely, there needs to be. Oh yeah. I mean, I always say, for everyone, business I said, those who come on us. Right, so business have there somebody try to put yourself in part, somebody try to part out your business. It's better to for all of you how can do it and rather than to do it. So yeah, that's being paranoid. So we have to be paranoid, have to anticipate other people's next moves and can without play the competitions. I was at a business blind competition this morning in the college, and then they were kind of being dismissive of the competition. So can't do that. They're out trying to take that out, and it's not just going to sit still. I mean, if you do really good, you're going to inspire them to go even harder, faster, better. So you have to be, very self-aware of that. You're good at, and are good at, and a healthy, lots of parents, was a bit. So helpful. If you're not always learning to this minute, if you're not continuously learning, which absorbing as much as I can absorb, someone else is going to give me out. The greatest source of your paranoia should be knowledge. If we say the more than you do, you're not learning, you don't know how to learn, you're not for learning and acquiring information, you SOL. Listen, guys that have a chance thing to pursue, right? Since this is when we're more discipline. Don't be scheme, it'll be the most talented guy in the NBA, but his discipline, focus to do what necessary to be successful, he's willing to do, and combine it with successful, similarity toward being skilled. It makes him an amazing basketball player. So it's understanding, it's an ridiculous it is, finding the right place to use those skills and then going for it. When you do a few dollars, it's best if you pick the right industry. The right industry you pick, if you output everybody, if you try to build smarter than everybody, if you try to build better salesperson than everybody, if you try to be better prepared than everybody, got the best trend because you don't do it and somebody else does. I have a saying, work life when I try to take it from you, you don't work when I'm spending 4 days working, so I say it don't take away from you, and that's kind of way I look at it. We say the number one reason why people fail, necessarily what it make it on the complete opposite. Lack of effort. Lack of effort, yeah, just don't do the work, they don't learn. They put in the room and you start business and you start talk about somebody you are never in with no competition. That's good competition, this means somebody else what you do and where you started. And if you're not working into a competitive environment, they still know more about your business and you do and more about your customers you want to lose. But most people don't skilled that they don't do the work, they don't learn, they don't know about the industry, they don't even know about business. I mean, so you got to put into effort to know more about your industry than anybody else. And that's the brand's part, and that's also the part effort part as well. So if you're competing with me, you better know what you're doing. Otherwise, I'm kicking your ass. And you're not going to go anywhere. So the combination usually will keep us only on more than anything. But man, it was always like if you want something, you have to earn it. And to his credit, he never said no, you can't do that. See what it was selling garbage, whatever maximum time, whatever it was, he never had me back. Everything that was important as anything. And sometimes being and trying things you're so native when you don't know how to do it, or you learn to learn. And if you fail, it doesn't matter. So when it was 9, 10, 12, 16, 21, if I was or if I not, if stand 9, 21, 22 years old, I'm sleeping on the couch. I have a car with a home with foldable, or I'm living a bum and like student. And that's what they have to lose. So I think that's influence me as much as I think, that's what like go for it. Don't, why not? What have you got to lose? Yeah, so thing like this like if you put 10 guys in you to view them, okay, within 10 minutes views say this dude's not gonna make as an entrepreneur. I can typically tell, right? I can tell by the passion, I can tell by their focus, I can tell by depression. There is a whole relative things in business here, here's this business you're in and it has things that influence whether or not you're gonna be successful. You throw to my experience in business, I can put myself in his position and say, okay, he now has with 1,000 things he has to build wealth and go to an ask. They may have to observe it should have been able to rest already. They can give me a sense of how hard I will work. They can tell by the questions they ask me, so all I have to do is say, okay, what do you want to know? But of course, if you and I were in business high school, which were 40 years old, so we each other. So it bet on you being who you are today. Today, really? No, yes, tell me why. I had my good friends and, we are hung out and I was a hustler. This notion, I was a hustler, even in high school, oh yeah, 2% in a big way. But I don't think people saw it. Maybe it was like people looked at me and say they need to succeed. So in high school, you were fun guy, were always the guy that made people laugh. No, I was always competitive. I was into sports. No, I wasn't really that. I was just decent, wasn't technology guy. I was into learning. I was a business guy. I was able to guy reading about business. Sometimes reading business, but all the time, going to junior achievement. I was junior achievement geek. Why were you reading business books? Because what? That's what I knew. I was taught that way. Like my first business when I was 12, I was buying and selling baseball stamps, crossbody, selling stamps, and I think I could also make money. I was hustling, trying to do so it was. The business but not so much great. It was all my friends were into it with me, so they wouldn't know. Do you think there's a proven formula? That's if a brand rookie guy, he's got a lot of episodes gonna disrupt, but not on knowledge on how to. You think it follows formula, he's ready to make it an entrepreneur? No. So if a guy's ready to make it, because who knows you're going to compete with. So with two people both following the same formulas, but in the same industry, right? But one wins, maybe you compete to win and both successful, but so I don't think that the default template for the set, but I think that's the thing that you can to put yourself in a position to succeed.